Today we're looking at a lesson where a guy went from hitting rope hooks nasty enough to kill a giraffe to blasting at 350 like he's trying to knock satellites out of orbit. We'll watch a few clips to catch you up, then I'll break down the before and after, plus the face-on view which shows the real issue, which is your setup. Yeah, you know, that boring thing nobody wants to fix. I'm not saying my take is right or wrong, it's just different. The goal of this video is to show how coaches can see and work on the same thing in completely different ways so you can better understand different teaching styles and beliefs. The link to their full 20-minute lesson is on their channel, so check it out after this and judge for yourself. This one took me a while to put together, so smash that like button for me faster than he used to snap hook it into the parking lot, and drop a comment if you ever hook it so bad that you made you question your life decision.
I just want to remind the viewers of the couple of drives that I hit on the golf course just now. Yeah, when it's a pre.
That's it.
And then on.
Yeah, then just leave it up, move.
And leave it up.
Leave it up and go. Yeah, move in. Go to the top for me.
Up and off.
Good. That's it. And then from there, arms up and just move in. That's it. Yeah, I'll tell you the other thing. Just hit me one where you literally just set up to it normally for me. So set up, then just drop your right foot back 2 inches.
That way?
No, as in like that way.
This way?
Yeah, that way, yeah. That was different, wasn't it?
Yep.
So all I've done there by dropping the right foot back is it does 2 things for you. Because obviously you're going to feel further away from it. Like number one is like, it's got nothing to do with like being here so you're going to draw it more or anything like that. What it does is, by you dropping that right foot back a bit more like this, if I move anything left now, if you think the way that you're spinning out of it, you know, I've talked a lot about your arms being up today as well.
Yeah.
Just watch what happens to my arms here. If I was to like move this energy channel like open, so if I'm going to move dynamically this way, see where my hands and arms go, see how they come down?
Yeah.
Whereas if I start to move energy more like this way, you'll notice if anything they go up and back, which then allows me to be more patient on the way in as well. So by getting you to stand more like this, anything that moves left now can't really go into my heel. It's going to go weight-wise into my toe from my hand. Oh, fucking hell. But then I want it in front of you in delivery.
Yeah.
I don't want it in front of you initially, and then you go, oh, don't like this, so and then go like that,
and then that,
and then literally drop it behind your late, and then you're stuck. That's nuts.
There you go.
Okay, so on the screen we have the one that he was rope hooking and struggling with the pulls on the left side. Obviously the one on the right side is the adjustments, and we see that there is definitely a ball flight change. And what we'll find out by looking at this view is the way the instructor talked and the way the instructor explained of how to set up differently and how to move that first motion into the golf ball and feeling like you're delaying this fighting of coming underneath doesn't necessarily happen. Now the instructor and the student have had quite a lot of history, so maybe the instructor knows how this person thinks and knows that this swing thought will get this accomplished differently. But what I'm here to do is look at the cause and effect and look at the differences between the two. So let's just freeze this right at setup and start from there. The whole body on the left side is aiming a little bit more to the right. Now I'm not sure if that is a camera angle or if that's just the case. He has issues aligning on the golf course, but what we can also tell is the weighting is slightly different. So if we do from the arches of the heels up on both of these, there's definitely more of a centeredness weighting. And how do we do the centeredness check is we just go ahead and extend that spine angle and take a look at where that club shaft is going through, and we definitely see the X's. One is behind and one is forward, but again, this could be a camera issue. Let's keep that in mind. In swing principles, the one on the right side is one of the very last swings that he took where he striped it right down the middle where the path and face angle cancel each other's out. The one on the left side, we can definitely see that ball starts right down the centers and then moves pretty hard to the left. So we know that the club face was probably square to the target but was close to the path. Where the one on the right side looks like to me a slight block, but the club face was square to the path, which resulted in a fairly straight shot. But when we go to the top of the swing on each of these, we can see that there is a difference in terms of weighting. So the one on the left side, we can see the grip of the club is just found just outside his original setup with his weight weighting was. Where the one on the right side, the club has found a nice balance point between his upper body and the centerness of him, which is here. So in short, this one on the right side is deeper in terms of his centeredness, but it's keeping him more stable, which is the key. But the triangle check, watch the arms. The arms do the same thing. They both go down, so it's not necessarily changing much in his upper body. But if you take a look at the feet, now the feet is what I'm looking at, is do we see a big difference of the footing? So as we strike that golf ball, we can see the right foot is still acting like it was before and after. The left foot is staying planted a little bit longer, so he might be trying to get that feeling of moving the weighting towards the toes, but it doesn't happen because both toes come off the ground right here, and post impact we can see that both heels are clearly planted in the ground, but what we do see is a much more stable spine angle, and this will be reflected in red. We can see there's the center of the old spine angle, here's the center of the new spine angle, so they're staying right where they started, and I just believe it's from a pretty good setup where the balancing had changed, not so much an in-swing principle change. And you'll definitely notice this follow through. Look how much higher the club shaft finishes. It almost intersects where his spine angle is, where this one we can see that the hands really had to get engaged and working much faster. But what do we notice is something different, specifically with the finish. Look at that left heel on the ground, and look how the inside of his foot is coming up, which means that more weighting went this way, where this one, it's not as much. So contrary to him thinking he's going into the target at first, he winds up better going back the other way. So it could be that he's thinking moving this way can help him torque into the ground more and finish more effectively through the golf ball. But I also think that has something to do with ball position, grip, and his setup. So let's just take a look at that very quickly here. So to look at how effective ball position does change your in-swing dynamics, I brought up Kyle Berkshire on the left side of the screen. As you know, Kyle's a long drive champion, and he also has a strong grip, as we see the gentleman on the right side does as well. Now this is why ball position and setup really make a difference. If you take a look at Kyle's shoulders relative to where that ball position is, we're going to draw a straight line and connect it to his spine. And you take a look at the shoulder tilting. That shoulder tilting is fairly perpendicular to that golf ball, and his hands are out in front, so he does carry a slight forward press. We take a look at the gentleman on the right side. When we do this and go right through his spine, we can see that yes, the hands are slightly out in front, creating a slight forward press, but you take a look at the shoulders, they are not going to be as perpendicular as Kyle's. And second, we take a look at where that ball position is relative to the center. We see Kyle's is definitely further away from that versus the gentleman in the left. Now this is going to play its part in a couple of ways. Number one, we're going to see Kyle is just going to go to the top of the swing, and he will remain fairly neutral to that starting position. So we see he is still fairly centered, and he just relied on weight distribution by turning. Where the gentleman on the right side, we can see that we do see a much more aggressive weight distribution and turn. So when we get to the top of the swing, we can see now that he has shifted his body a little bit more to the right side of him. He's trying to shift his center away from that golf ball to create some spacing. However, if we go to a couple of frames before impact, this will really make some sense to you as to how ball position, grip placement really plays a part. Remember, with strong grips, we need to be in a position where our body tilting and turning is helping our wrists to not be in a position where they're running out of room and rotating too fast, because then that's when you're going to get your face-to-path relationship off. Now the key thing to look at is take a look at where the ball position is on Kyle versus the ball position on the gentleman taking the lesson, but then take a look at where the hands are. So the hands on the left side, because Kyle is staying in his tilting that he set up at the start of the swing, he is able to retain a lot more of this angle. So we're going to take a look in yellow, and we're going to draw this here. Now you notice how that retention of the angle is running parallel to his shoulder tilting. It's also perfectly cut in half his circle. So if we draw his circle, we will see that circle is cut right in half, right when things match up here. However, if we look at our student on the right side of the screen, we will take a look at this hand. We'll have to let go earlier because everything has moved so much closer to the golf ball. So we moved back to distribute weight, and then we moved over again to distribute weight, crashing into our golf ball. So now we have to start to move up as we crash to time this release, and we can see based on his circle we are running out of room. So watch the next frame on the right side. We see the hands will really release, where Kyle's will be able to hold on to that angle a much longer and get the body more involved. And how do we know how much release this has? Let's clear up all these lines. I'm going to put two lines here for you to look at. I'm going to draw the club shaft line. Now We're going to look at where that shaft meets the other side, and then we're going to look at where the hands are. Gentlemen, on the right side of the screen, right here. So we see the hands are just on that line, and the club has gone through. However, watch Kyle on the left side. Once the club gets to parallel with that line, look how much higher they are away from where they were as we get into the golf ball, which means that this is a body-driven motion. The hands are just going along for the ride. Obviously, they need to release, but they're not relied upon because we're crashing into the golf ball and we have to stand up and time this. So this swing, in my opinion, is more timing oriented based on that setup. So from the down the line, we learned a little about setup changes there, and from face on really opened up the setup changes that I would be addressing with the students. And then we work on in-swing principles, because the setup can really play havoc on your motion. So I do hope that helps you. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you have another video you want me to analyze, but don't forget, go check out this video in its entirety. It's a 20-minute video, and let me know your thoughts after you've done that. Get your own opinion, but hope that helps you. I'll see you next time. Fairways and greens. A huge thank you to these incredible supporters on the screen and to you watching this video. Your support helps us bring our golf curriculum to low-income children around the world at no cost to them, just like our location in Cape Flat, South Africa, in partnership with the Hillard program. Please like, share, and consider subscribing. Together, we can give the gift of golf to kids who need it the most.